Welcome to the Magical Mommy Monday podcast. We really appreciate you listening. We'll be talking about everyday mom life with some pixie dust from Disney thrown in from time to time. This is a judgment-free zone. We know everyone parents differently, and we're just two moms doing our best as we figure out this whole parenting thing. So now, let's get this party started with today's episode.
Welcome to the Magical Mommy Mondays podcast. I'm Angela Dahlgren here with my co-host Jen Snyder.
Hello. And we have no idea what we're talking about today. So here's the thing. We're not even starting this podcast with the pre-show chat because
little anecdote.
Again, we just talked for half hour.
Yeah.
And we just learned a lot about each other, and Angela's been drinking. So
okay. I have had one drink, but those of you who have known me for a while know that I only need one drink to act the way that I act on one drink. I don't drink a lot. I would say seldom is the word. I seldom have alcohol just because I don't really like how it makes me feel.
Sure.
Yada, yada, yada. But I had 4 little girls at my house this weekend, 2 days straight. So after that, I told my husband, honey, I'm going to need something just to wind down.
Need a little bit of something.
It was a weekend.
Yeah.
But I figured that today we would just, this was actually Jen's idea. I'm stealing all the credit. I figured, as in Jen figured, that we would just kind of just see where the wind took us today. Yeah. I am type A. I am Miss Outline. I always have an outline for the show.
Yeah.
Even if we decide, let's just do a life update, I will life update the outline.
Yeah.
So we are just going by the seat of our pants. Basically, it took me one drink to be okay with this.
Angela's a little bit nervous. She knows this is how Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz typically rolls because we never know what we're saying. But here we do things a little more structured, although sometimes I go off the rails a little bit, which I'm sure makes you a little bit nervous when I'm like, what is this outline? I'm throwing it out. Let me add this random story and tangent.
When Jen goes on a tangent, especially at the beginning, I would get so uncomfortable because I'm like, but it's not on the outline. Is this okay? Are we allowed to do this? This is not structured. But then it would lead to a really good story. So I'd have to talk myself down and be like, but no, this is so organic. Live a little, enjoy the journey.
Right? So now that you've had a drink, I want to hear all about your weekend with 4 girls.
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't condone drinking if you are underage or doing it irresponsibly. Right. So I just want to point out that I am not going anywhere for the rest of the night. I'm not going to have more than one. I am 31 years old. So I just want to point that all out. Second of all, if you have not subscribed to the Dillo's Diz Theme Park Thursdays with the Dillo's Diz, please do so. Jen and her brother Frank are amazing. I'm acting like I've spoke to you once. If you have not heard of Jen and Frank, this is going to be an awesome episode.
They're our third sibling.
I really should have rethought how I was going to film this episode today. Okay.
No, you shouldn't. You should not think. You're just talking.
Never go back, only forwards. Okay. I hope I don't advertise it with my libations. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about our weeks and our weekends.
Okay.
I have been going rock climbing lately, and I don't know, my husband's always like, Angela, you need to talk more about what you do, what your hobbies are and how you live your life. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that this episode. So he wanted me to talk about the fact that I go rock climbing. Yes, it's something that I am finding is a form of meditation for me. It's the one of 3 things in my life that I am a natural at.
Yeah.
Very weird. Jen, tell me 2 things you're a natural at.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, no, this is your time to gloat. I just did, so now you have to do it so I feel better about myself, or just gloating.
I don't know.
We're going to have dead air if you don't say something.
I'm a natural at ridiculous facts.
Ooh.
But nothing important. Nothing that if you went through life not knowing it, it wouldn't change your life one bit.
Are these facts like the first winner of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire won by getting this question correct? Like that?
No, that is way too detailed and too smart, actually.
Okay.
Mine are like, hey, do you know how many kids Angelina Jolie has and what their names are? And I can tell you, like that kind of thing.
Okay, but that's pop culture, and most people find pop culture interesting.
I mean, yeah, but does it like ruin your life if you didn't know that? Probably not. Like, my husband wants me to do like a day, useless fact of the day. I don't think he called it useless. I do. Useless fact of the day, like calendar, like one of those rip calendars with just all the random, because I'll just say stuff. He'll like look at someone. He's like, who is that person? I'm like, you don't know them? Hold on. Let me tell you the entire history of who this person is.
Because I've Wikipedia'd them before.
Exactly. I have checked IMDb. I memorized all the trivia. I have Wikipedia them. I follow them on Twitter and Instagram. Here's the background. And I'll like go into it. So it's just really random facts. So maybe I guess I'm a natural at that, because if you ask me about anything I learned in school, I can't tell you anything.
But this kind of leads to something you're not mentioning. You have a really good memory.
That's true.
Yes.
I do.
So you need to brag about that too.
Yeah. I have an annoyingly good memory.
Yes.
I mean, there's definitely things in my life I've blocked out, probably both. But yes, I remember really, like I can recite a conversation. I'm like, then you said this, and then I said this, and then you said this,
that just makes you a good arguer.
That's true. That also helps there. But yeah, I mean, now Frank's memory, 10 times better than mine. And I feel like, I have a really good memory, but his memory is like, he will tell you the day of the week and the date, and it doesn't matter what year it's from, that something happened on in his life, in history, whatever it is. Like he can,
That is impressive. I can't do that.
I'll be like, when was that? He'll be like, I think it was like 89. And then he'll like relate it to stuff in his life. And I know he's probably listening to this and laughing. So like he'll relate it to stuff in his life. He'll be like, oh, and then I was playing ball at that time and I was on the travel league, and it was, so it was summer and it was Saturday, but it was probably like a week before. It's probably around this date. And it'll probably be right if you look it up. It's like crazy.
That's probably what makes Frank such a good storyteller, is because he remembers so many details.
Yeah.
And for me, it's why I'm such a crappy storyteller, because I'm just like, people don't care. They just want me to get to the punchline. And then there's my husband, who is so ridiculously detailed. He doesn't listen to the show, so he doesn't remember. Who is so ridiculously detailed. He will be like, and the dirt was so gravelly and the sky was purple. It's like, oh my God, just get to it already.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. But the next generation of Dillos, all their memories, all three of them, their memories are insane. They will my 3-year-old recently has been waking up from her nap. Like all last week she did it. She woke up from her nap each day just reciting what happened a year or two ago on a random day. Remember when I was like, what? Where did that even come from?
Like you were one.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And my son, forget about it. He like you cannot get anything by him. He remembers everything. He also remembers like he has a really good visual memory too. So if he leaves, like sometimes he'll go, where is this toy? Or where is your water cup? Or where, I don't know. But he does. And he'll tell me like, no, you hear my dryer? That happened during a Theme Park Thursday episode too. My dryer just buzzes. But he'll remember like, where's this toy? Oh, it's in my car seat. No, we haven't brought that in the car. Yes, we have. It's in my car seat. It's in the pocket of the car seat. No, we never brought. Oh, here it is. Like, I don't even bother questioning him anymore. Like, he's right. I don't even bother pushing back. So, and I know my niece is the same way. Her memory is crazy. So, yeah, it's probably going to be a battle for us with the new generation because we'll be like put up against it and it's going to be tough. Anyway, back to you.
Anyway, back to me being a natural in rock climbing. I mean, I guess that's all relative, isn't it? Like I can naturally climb well and fast, but I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm not going to be sponsored by North Face anytime soon.
Why not?
or like Patagonia. Yeah, I should reach out. If you're listening, guys, sponsor me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I have been going climbing, I would say maybe once a month. I wish I could go more. I should really get a membership at some point. And they have amazing COVID protocols. First of all, where I go, you have to cleanse your hands with isopropyl alcohol before every climb, and you have to wear your mask, and you have to wear it over your nose
Well,
the whole time you
everyone
climb.
should be.
Exactly. So they took the right notes in school.
Yeah.
So you have to wear a mask the entire time you climb, and they limit how many people can be in the gym at a time. So you have to make a reservation in advance. And I've been really impressed. I've felt very safe and very far away from people. So that's an activity that I've been doing, and I've been bringing my daughter as well. And it's really cool. It's led to a lot of good life lessons. Like, we'll set goals for ourselves. Like my daughter, she has completed 2 climbs where she's made it to the top. So we went this week, and she decided like, oh, I'm going to climb 2 5-6s. And it's just, on a scale of how hard the sends are, how far the climb, how hard they are. And so that was her goal, and mine was to climb 2 5-10s. And we were halfway to our goal at that point. She was saying, but yours is harder than mine. And, we were just kind of learning the lesson that everyone has their own goals in life, and you shouldn't compare your journey to anyone else's. And she was getting really frustrated with one of her climbs because she would only go so high, and then she'd get scared or she'd get tired and come back down. And so I went on the wall next to her and climbed with her, and we just kind of talked it through. So it led to a lot of problem solving. So it's just been really cool seeing her develop her skills and learn problem solving and not giving up. And it's just been really fun for me to challenge myself and, climb on harder walls and, be a little braver, because being an anxious person, I don't like taking risks. So me jumping for a hold where normally I'd be like, no, too scary. You know? So, that's been something that I've really liked, and it's been a form of meditation. But you made a trip to Rhode Island recently.
I did. I did that yesterday as we record this. Yeah.
Which that is so cool. Like our day trips, it's like, oh, let's go to Wisconsin. Let's go to Iowa. Like yours are like, let's go to New Jersey. Let's go to Rhode Island.
Well, I don't know that anyone says it like that about New Jersey. Sorry, New Jersey. Just kidding. JK.
We love you.
We love you. Yeah. So I've talked about before, my 6-year-old is obsessed with states and capitals, and he's moving on to countries, but still really obsessed with states. And so, going to a new state is like so exciting. So he's always asking us like, have you been here? Has daddy been here? And he'll go through. But we have been talking like since the summer, we were thinking about like, oh, maybe we'll take like a day trip and we'll like go up to Boston or something, or we'll go somewhere else. I don't know. But then we were still kind of like, do we do that with all the COVID stuff? How's this state looking? How's this? I don't know, whatever. So we kind of, for kicks yesterday, we're just like, what if we just like go to Rhode Island? Whatever. It's a beautiful day out. Let's just see. So Rhode Island is the place of the first official date that my husband and I had 12 years ago.
How far is it?
Like 3 hours.
That's it?
That's not bad. But at the time he was living in Boston. So we would like go back and forth, like, and we had like been hanging out, but like there was like nothing official happening.
Yeah, no label.
No. So that was like the first official date in May 12 years ago. And
geez, Jen, I went to Dairy Queen for my first date and go to a new state.
Whatevs. And so we went to Newport, and there's like a cliff walk there. So there's like a beach area and like these beautiful houses and stuff. And there's just like this little it's a cliff walk. I don't know. But this little path, and you walk along the water, above the water, whatever. So it's really pretty and it's a really nice sight. I mean, as soon as we got there, like my 6-year-old was jumping up and down like, oh my God, I love Rhode Island. Like, okay.
Let's move here.
Yeah, exactly. Because as we were driving, there was like a ton of sailboats out, and it was just looking very Hallmark movie-esque. Because we had gone, my husband and I had gone back for one of our wedding anniversaries a few years ago. I feel like only my son was born, maybe not my daughter yet. So we went and our anniversary is in January, so it's still very like Christmassy. And I was like, oh my God, this is like a Hallmark movie. I love it so much. So we did that. We did the cliff walk. We hung out on the beach. We did some pictures, cute. And then we haven't been to many restaurants in the post-COVID world. Like I'm still dipping my toe in but now I've gone to 2 this weekend. But we went to one like a week or 2 ago with the in-laws that just sort of happened. So I was like, oh, are we doing this? Are we back? So we went yesterday, and we found like a really great spot on the water too. We were able to watch the sunset. There were boats coming in, had a lobster roll, had some bisque. It was fantastic. I have been cutting gluten and dairy. Maybe we'll get to that later. I don't know. We'll see where the wind takes us, right? But I was like, I'm in Rhode Island. I'm having New England clam chowder. I'm not looking at anything.
Let's just go for it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty good. And then we came home. So the driving portion was like a lot. There's a lot of driving, and we didn't hang out for like an entire day. Whatever. We all had a fantastic time. So it's good.
You should really make a weekend of that.
Yes.
Go there for a weekend. Or what month is your anniversary?
January.
Should totally do it for your anniversary.
Yeah, I know. We got to go back again. I'll show you pics.
So I have an admission of guilt.
Oh,
now,
okay.
do I feel guilty? I feel judgmental, and this is a judgment-free zone. So I guess I feel guilty.
Are you judging me?
No.
Oh.
No.
It's okay if we want to talk it out. If you're judging me about something, talk it out.
I do want to talk something out.
Okay.
I feel like in this time of COVID, it's like you start to judge for these things that it's like was never even a thought.
Yep.
And one of them for me is whether it's safe for people to eat inside.
Right.
It's something that I would not have noticed or cared about ever. But in this time of COVID, suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, is it like, are you sure that you want to eat inside a restaurant?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know you're going to have to take your mask off to do that.
Right.
Therefore, exposing yourself, well, the tables are 6 feet apart, but you're still inside. It's COVID air.
Yep.
And I find myself having these thoughts. And so when I know that people are going to go away or go somewhere else, I'm like, okay, well, make sure you eat outside if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's personally what we've been doing is we've only been eating outside. And I live in Minnesota. So my future for the next 6 months is, well, if I want to go out to eat, that's indoor dining.
Yeah.
So that means with this mindset that we are just doing carry out for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's like, we all know this is first world problems. Like, oh my God, I can't go out to eat for 6 months. What am I going to do?
Right.
Like, I understand how that sounds.
Yeah.
But it's just this mindset. Like, we talk about this podcast being a judgment-free zone. And here I find myself where I judge over this it's stupid. It is like, oh my gosh, so-and-so went out to eat and they ate inside and they took off their mask to eat. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But it's just so weird. And I want to talk it out because I'm just trying to be more transparent and trying to be more myself to everyone and not hold back. And I feel like other people sometimes have these thoughts too. And it's a COVID thing that we should have never had to deal with. And now we are. So I'm like, I'm just going to talk about it today.
Yeah. And I feel the same way. I am not ready for indoor dining. I'm barely ready for outdoor dining. And so far I've only done outdoor. So like yesterday was outdoors. But because it was kind of like an outdoor deck kind of area.
Oh yeah.
When the sun went down, then they started like pulling down the plastic, to block the wind because it got cooler and all that. I was like, oh, perfect time when we're leaving. And then like today, this is Sunday, just yesterday, guys, if you're listening on Magical Mommy Monday, we went out with Frank and his family and we ate outside as well, but we were like in a tent and I'm like, I think this is okay still. I think it's okay. Right. But there's still like, do I need to wipe down this table with Clorox wipes? Like, do I need to, but I'm like washing the kids' hands as much as I can. And I'm, but there's still there, and I'm watching everybody else in the restaurant. Like everyone has masks. And I did notice like walking around Newport and being around Newport yesterday, we had driven from where we were with the cliff walk and we wore masks on the walk because there were other people there and we were never that close, but we did see other people wearing masks too. Like we were just like, oh, let's keep them on. The kids are fine with them. Let's keep that going. And then I think down at the beach, we probably took them off a little bit. But we, then when we drove over to like where the restaurant was and everything, there were so many people that we were like, should we do this? There seems to be a lot of people, but more people just out and about, like just walking the streets and gathering in groups. But everyone, as far as I saw, everyone was in a mask. And I was like, I'm pretty impressed that everybody, this many people are out and wearing a mask. Like that's a good sign. And we weren't going to just walk around aimlessly. And we kind of like found our way to the restaurant and it was pretty empty when we got there. It started filling up more towards the end because we got there pretty early. So but yeah, I'm thinking all those things too. I'm like, oh, all you people are just out. Like, oh, you guys are sitting inside at the bar. Oh my God. But meanwhile, like, I know my parents are doing that. My parents are back to like eating in a restaurant inside or whatever. I'm like, yeah, how's that going? Good. Okay. But I know that plenty of people are doing it. And I think it's such a weird time we know this isn't over. It's still going on. COVID is still happening. Numbers are going up and down everywhere. A lot more things have opened, but it's like, but does it make it okay? And I know a lot of people are also over it. So I worry too about the ones that are over it and out and about. And I don't know where y'all have been. And so it makes me nervous. So, I mean, I feel like I'm still, for the most part, being careful. I'm even like that at the playgrounds where, pretty much weekly we're meeting up with friends at a park and we're pretty much just hanging out in like this open field and the kids are running around and they also are fully virtual. So like we feel good about hanging out with them and all of that. The kids are absolutely having a great time and using their imagination and creating they've fought dragons in the field before. They've been making dinners with leaves and little berries they find on the trees. No, they're not eating them, but they just pretend. And, like they've come up with all these storylines. So it's also awesome to see that. Like there's a big open field and they're just playing and having fun and figuring it out. So that's working. So, but yeah, I understand where you're coming from in terms of like, no, I'm not judging. Oh, I think I'm a little judgy.
And at the same time, I mean, I'm no better. Like I have this reservation for Walt Disney World in November. I have to cancel by mid-October. I still haven't done it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like I talk to family members who have been there and they're like, I feel comfortable. I feel safe there. I talk to people who are doctors that are like, yeah, you're probably fine going. And suddenly I'm like, but it's crowded, like very crowded at times. The lines are very long, albeit I know that's due to COVID procedures. And so I feel more torn than ever.
Yeah.
Because I still have to fly there.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if that feeling is due to the fact that I just haven't left within an hour of my house.
Right.
Months and months and months.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the right thing to do is anymore. I want to be as safe as possible for my family members. Even if I went, I would quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I just want to make the best decision. And I'm kind of at that point where I don't know what that is anymore.
Yeah.
And who am I to judge when I find myself having that moment of humanity where I'm like, I want to go, but is it right? Or am I just being uncomfortable and I need to get comfortable being uncomfortable?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. And Frank is in the same boat. He has a trip scheduled in a few weeks for October and has been going back and forth about it since he did it, which I think he made the reservation around feel like it was around Father's Day, and like the flights were so cheap. And so he made it, and he was like, all right, we'll see how things are in October. I don't know. And he is now weeks out, still going, because now in Florida, they've also like, okay, restaurants back open. So it's like, you have all those people, plus you have to fly, plus you have to be in the airport, plus you have to, get into a rental car or whatever. Plus you're going to be, I feel like everyone pretty much trusts what Disney has done. And I feel like they've done a really good job. And when you're in the bubble, it'll be good. It's just a matter of who else is in that bubble with you. And do y'all live in Florida, and have you been to these crowded restaurants now that are at 100% capacity? Or have you been flying on an airplane, and where'd that airplane come from? And how many were you on a plane where they leave the middle seat open, or are you really squished together with other people? Was everyone wearing their masks on the plane? I don't know. All those things come into play. And I don't know. I do feel like, mask wearing at least is probably going to stick around for a while, even when things are a little more normal. Let's say like schools are back, like full, there is no virtual anymore, or the parks, Disney is open more and it's been a while or whatever. I feel like masks may stick around longer than some other things, which I'm fine with. It's just like, it's still in this unknown place of, I don't know what to feel, but I completely miss Disney and I really want to go. I know that much.
I will tell you what we are doing, which I do feel comfortable with, is in a couple weeks, I won't tell you where we're going, because in case any family members are listening, it's a surprise for the kids. We are driving somewhere, and we're going to spend a few days, a lot of time outside. I mean, people maybe might guess what that. So it's within driving distance, and we're going to spend a lot of time outside in some place that the kids and I have never been to before. So it's going to be outside. It's within driving distance. So, we can take our own car, and it's someplace that we feel comfortable going with COVID. And it's just a place we can go with the family, because the kids and I have probably been cooped up for months. And my husband has just basically gone to work and come back. Yeah. So, that's something that we're really looking forward to, and something we feel comfortable with. So, at least we have some place that we can drive. And I know that you can ask the hotels, I think, to leave give you a room that's been empty for a day or two. So we're definitely going to do that. And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the itch of travel, and we definitely want to go someplace. And we were thinking of, should we look into like an Airbnb somewhere, or should we, just to go just for a change of scenery and just to like do something. And so I definitely get that, but that'll be good for you guys.
Yeah, and then someday Jen and fam are going to drive to Minnesota, and
I don't know if we're going to drive, but we're going to.
You can do your little cross country trip, and your son can stop in all the states.
Oh my God, he'll be so excited! I know,
it'll be fun.
All right, what else? What other?
My weekend.
We still haven't gotten to your weekend with 4 girls.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I grew up in a family of 4, but I was the baby. So things were just like done for me. I was on let's call it the back end. I was on the back end of things.
Yeah, how many years are between you and your youngest older brother?
So that would be about 4.5.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm what they would call a youngest oldest, because after 4 years, the birth order starts over again.
Right.
So Jen, you would be a youngest oldest as well.
Oh, perfect. Also, I need to interrupt for a moment, since we're just mentioning your brothers quickly, since we made a TikTok, which we haven't done in a really long time, featuring one of your brothers. Yes. I need to know where in the order he is as well.
Okay, we're on 154 views.
Oh, okay.
It's not bad. Not good. Not bad. So I have 3 older brothers, and that was the middle brother that we put on TikTok. If you have not followed us on TikTok, please do. My middle brother is a high school teacher, and he is currently doing distance learning, with high school kids while he has 5 kids under 8 at home.
Oh my goodness.
So thoughts and prayers would be appreciated during this difficult time.
I loved it. And for me, my favorite moment that got an LOL from me personally was once he started the head bob, that move, like the side head bob.
So he sent me this video just because, like my brother, because, you know, he doesn't sleep or do anything fun right now while he has so many kids. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really understand social media. He just has Facebook and that's it. So he sent me this video just because. And I said, oh my God, you have to let me post this to TikTok. Please let me post this. He's like, but it's not a good angle. I have a double chin. I'm like, it's just the angle. Please let me post this. And he said, okay. So he did. And it is so good. It's so good.
Yes. I love it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, continue. But I just had to throw that out there about it.
Anyway, so him and his wife went away this weekend to renew their vows. They're the ones who have 5 kids. Just as an aside, my oldest brother has 6, and then my oldest brother has 2. So it's a big old family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom took 2, and then my son. So the 2 boys were together, and then the baby, and then I took their 3 of their daughters, and then my daughter. So 4 girls, and then my mom had the rest. And I do not know how they do it.
Yeah,
Parents with 3 or more kids, I just commend you. I commend you. I felt like all weekend I was just cleaning.
Yeah.
And feeding kids. They're good kids. They're happy kids. They're so well loved. They're so good to each other, but they're so busy. And I'm including my kid in there too. They're just so busy. Mm-hmm. I am exhausted, and I'm so I think half that exhaustion is just I'm so tired from cleaning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. And I even texted them at one point and I said, I don't know how you do it, but I give you all my props.
Yeah. Yeah. And how old are they?
8 all the way down to 1.
And how old are the ones you had?
The ones I had were 5 and 3, I think.
5 and 3. Okay.
5 and 3, and then the oldest.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I even asked my mom, because my mom had 4 kids, and I said, how did you do it? How did you maintain a household? And she said, well, I mean, we were working, so the house was clean while we were at work. And then you just kind of, you kind of have the kids do their own chores and stuff like that. But I don't know. I only have 2, and I feel like 2 can be a lot, and you get overwhelmed with 2 sometimes. So if you are listening and you have 3 or more, please share your tips and tricks, because you have some superpowers that I am not privy to yet.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. But it was fun. I mean, my daughter, so we don't get to see a lot of kids right now because of distance learning. And she was so cute this whole week. She was planning and cleaning. I've never seen her clean more in my entire life, but she wanted things to be perfect. She was making signs. She's picking out movies to watch and games to play and things like that. And she was so happy. I mean, just having kids around her age to play with, and them being her cousin. She loves her cousins, and they played the whole time. And she was so sad when they left. And they're just the sweetest kids too. And they give hugs. And one of them would just come up to me and say, Angela, I love you, for no reason. And my son adores his boy cousin and was so good with the baby and just giving her kisses and patting her head. So to see my kids happy and to see those kids just be so sweet and just happy, well-loved kids, it just, I don't know, it made me feel good just to know that I have a good family. So, I don't want to get too sappy and be like, my family is the greatest. But I have a good family. And I'm really glad that those 2 could get away and have some time alone, because they both work full time and they are so busy. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. It's my little weekend.
Cute all around.
Yeah. It's been busy. That's kind of been our big thing the past the past week is just getting ready for that. And then we have this trip coming up and yeah.
Before we go, we wanted, being the Disney lovers we are, we did want to touch on the news that came out earlier this week, or really last week as you're hearing this, which is the layoffs that have now been happening in Walt Disney World. And these tweets are absolutely heartbreaking to read every time I read them. But due to some financial, I don't know what I want to say, due to COVID and everything that came with it, and the park shutting down and the world kind of stopping for a bit, Disney has been forced to do some layoffs. And, cast members, to me, make the experience of Disney so much more amazing. They can make it even more magical. And I'm so sad for those that have, even if they've been there a year, but some have been there 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, and have now lost their job. And it's still a tough time in the world. So it's not a great time to lose your job anyway, but for those who work so hard to find their dream job in Disney and now not to have it is heartbreaking to hear. And, I hope that as time goes on, the world can get back to a better place and Disney can get back to the happy, magical place I know it is and will continue to be, but they need the magical people there too. And so hopefully sooner rather than later, that can happen.
I think that's really well said. It is so sad being on Twitter these days. You mix that in with what's happening politically, and Twitter is pretty much just a dumpster fire more than it usually is. But you're seeing, from DVC to the minivan drivers to Disney Parks blog, they are laying off entire departments essentially, and it's really, really horrible. I know Touring Plans has a blog post with resources, as well as Carly Wiesel she has put together something where you can help the cast members. So if you have anything to spare, I know that would really help them out during this time. So many people who have, been working for the Walt Disney Company just because, they love it. They love what they do and they found their family there. If you could do anything to just kind of open your wallets and your hearts, that would be really appreciated.
Yep. Agreed. I think that's a good note to end things on. What do you think?
I think so. I'll go to the ending. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give us a review on iTunes if you'd like. You can find us on Twitter at Magic Mom Monday, Instagram at Magical Mommy Mondays, or you can email us at magicalmommymondays@gmail.com, and we will also put our own social media handles in the show notes. I hope that you've enjoyed this impromptu episode, and we will talk to you on the next one. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Magical Mommy Monday podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. You can find us on Twitter at Magic Mom Monday and on Instagram at Magical Mommy Mondays. The music you heard on this podcast was written and produced by Matt Harvey. We'll see you next time.